Hello and welcome to another episode of Senior Soundings. I'm your host, Gerry LePage, and we're delighted to have you along with us again this time. My guests today are from the Newport Community School. To my immediate left is Kathy Evans, the director of the school, and to her left, Colleen Miller, who acts as a case manager as well as teaching both English as a second language and the general equivalency diploma courses as well. So, ladies, welcome. The Newport Community School has quite a history and a number of iterations, if you will. Kathy, why don't you start us off with a little bit of the history of the school?
Sure. Thank you so much for having us. This is such a wonderful opportunity to be able to talk about our program and hopefully recruit some new students or volunteers.
Sure.
We're so excited at home to let everyone know about all the different opportunities that we have for both learning and teaching at Aquidneck Island Adult Learning Center. We are a program of Newport Community School, and we have something for everybody here, from computer classes to apprenticeship classes, GED, to name a few. There's so many more.
Yes, and hi everyone. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
I just want to extend an invitation to anyone watching at home. If you're looking to learn something new, or even if you're just curious about adult education, please come stop by our office. We're located in downtown Newport.
Yep, and we are located at the bus station, which is awesome because a lot of people walk. A lot of our students and community members walk. They take the bus. There's free parking right behind us. We validate parking, so just keep that in mind. And to get back to your question about the history of Newport Community School, it was founded in 2001 in a partnership with the United Way. They had an initiative for community schools in Rhode Island, and in partnership with Newport Public Schools. The Newport Community School has had a thriving presence in Thompson Middle School and Rogers High School, providing out-of-school time programs and opportunities for secondary grade level students and their families. In 2009, and I refer to it as NCS, Newport Community School, they expanded to offer NCS Connects, which is a program that addresses barriers to learning by improving access to wellness, mental health, family support services. And these services encourage families' involvement, and they make the link between homeschool and community as essential for students' success. And just to mention, Newport Community School has offered so many great opportunities for the adult learners. They have set up food pantries for our students. They have done all these initiatives through the year. They start off the year with a back-to-school bash, which is amazing. They give out about 900 backpacks, and food. They set up a food pantry and all kinds of community resources. It's awesome. Every year we do that. Unity in the Community we just had, which is like a health and wellness and cultural event, and Meet, Make, and Be Merry, and they have it at Thompson, and it's great because the adult students take part in it. Last year we had almost 40 electricians, students, making wreaths at Thompson with people from the community and the PTO and everything. So in January of 2010, the Aquidneck Island Adult Learning Center merged to become a division of Newport Community School, which continued to provide at more than 10 sites comprehensive services, including academic assessments, literacy and numeracy instruction, workplace literacy, job readiness skills, high school completion. I apologize, I have to look at the list. It's so vast. No one knows what we do there. Vocational training and counseling services. All AIALC programs have an underlying focus to the active recruitment of early school leavers and special populations. We assist adult learners to become literate members of the community. We assist adult learners to become economically self-sufficient and provide various services that offer opportunities to complete a secondary credential. And with the addition of NCS Connects and AIALC, Newport Community School we're seen as a comprehensive provider of academic and social support for youth to adult learners in Newport County. And we're considered one of Rhode Island's premier school reform strategy models, making positive and meaningful change in our local community. And I want to add and beyond, because we have people coming from all over Rhode Island to the programs. The organization has a track record of success demonstrated by annual program evaluations and external reviews by independent parties. So it really is a flourishing organization with a loyal following among both youth and adults, and it's well respected by its community partners. So one thing about AIALC, we serve over 850 students each year, and we just celebrated 50 years of programming. But a lot of our students find out about us by word of mouth. So when students come into the program, we ask them how they learned about us, and over 78% of our students write down, you know, my aunt came here, my mom got her GED, my sister did CNA, and then met, and we're intergenerational.
Sure.
It's incredible. We do partner with over 45 employers, both on the island and off, to offer opportunities for our learners.
Great.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Colleen, you have something to add?
Yes, if it's all right, I'd like to talk about a couple of resources that we offer at the school that might be especially relevant for the folks at home.
Sure. Go ahead.
So one thing we offer is the Learning Lab. Kathy was a big innovator when it comes to the Learning Lab. She was one of the early pioneers of the concept in the state. And the Learning Lab is a space where you can get help with any kind of computer skills, and I mean any kind of computer skills. We've helped students with typing, we've helped them learn how to use email, we help with learning how to navigate the internet and detect scams. I think that's really important because you know, there are vulnerable populations out there that are targeted by scams. I've taught people the different, you know, red flags to look out for.
Right, absolutely, especially among the elderly population. You know, they seem to be targeted most frequently, and so it's important for them to have access to that kind of
support.
Learning.
Yes, and we encourage them to come in, and even if they don't have to be our student, we want people from the community to know that we are a support system in place to help them with whatever their needs are. So if they just want to walk in and say, hey, I got this message, and show us their device or whatever, what does it mean? They're more than welcome to come in and get that support.
Right. And you know, I know from my end with East Bay Community Action, we do love getting referrals from community resources like the Newport Community School because there's such a need out there, and no matter, we could do outreach 24 hours a day to try to educate people about the programs, the services, the supports that are in place, and yet it has to be done ongoing, because every outreach you do, for every person you reach, it seems as though there's someone else that doesn't know. And so, you know, that whole thing, and the collaboration that you have among the other service agencies in the region certainly is important to maintain.
Definitely, and we value our community partners. EBCAP is one of them, and also Turning Around Ministries, Newport County Mental Health. There's so many amazing resources in Newport County, and we all work together to make referrals, to serve the students, and just, it's wonderful. We have great partnerships, and we value that.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of, you were talking about the background and the history a little bit, and the Aquidneck Island Adult Learning Center. I remember that used to be located on West Main Road in Middletown, near the library.
Yes.
And so then you moved to your current location on, is that America's Cup Boulevard right there?
America's Cup Ave.
Right.
We're on the second floor, 23 America's Cup Ave.
Okay.
And the back side of us is the bus station.
And I saw a YouTube video promoting tourism in Newport, and they mentioned about parking in the free parking lot and a place where there are clean restrooms nearby. And I know that people sometimes wander into the adult learning community looking for a restroom, But that's not the building I think the tour person was referring to, is it?
Right. I think they're referring to the back of the building where RIPTA is. There is a public restroom
where the
back
bus-
there. Yeah.
yeah.
But we're always happy to meet new people, and if someone comes upstairs exploring, who knows what it'll lead to.
You never know, right?
Yeah.
It's all
So,
outreach, and you never
definitely.
know which person you speak to that
You
will
never
open
know.
up all kinds of new avenues. So,
Definitely. Like we had a gentleman come in whose dad, who was in his 80s, who needed help with his mobile phone and trying to navigate the apps and download them and use them. And he's actually been a student of ours for over a year. He's been working very closely with our IT person, Cheyenne, who's amazing, who helps staff the Learning Lab. And he's been coming in, getting support with that. So that's,
Yeah.
and that was just from a chance wandering upstairs.
imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
The thing with the Learning Lab is it's easy enough, especially for someone of my generation perhaps, I'm in my 20s, to say, oh, well, there's plenty of information online to learn these digital skills. And that's true, and we use a lot of those tools, but what I think is good about the Learning Lab, I've helped facilitate them myself, is that there's a human touch. There's someone there with you one-on-one to walk you through
Right.
every step of the way.
Right.
I think that's really important because, you know, if you didn't grow up using this technology, then it's really daunting. You know, you might not know where to click or what to do first. So someone will sit with you one-on-one and tell you what to do, and walk you through it as many times as you need to do
Master
it.
Right.
And having, helped to facilitate some of the learning labs myself, I've had students who, for the first few times they need my help, but after a while the steps become muscle memory. I have some students right now who just started these lessons a few weeks ago, and now they know what to do. They know, okay, I open the computer, here's what button I push, here's how I get to the internet, here's the URL I type in, and things like that. So it's very daunting, but I would encourage, again, anyone who's interested to come check it out, because we will be there helping you. There's always that human touch.
Yeah,
That's
and
fabulous.
Right, and I just want to add too, in the Learning Lab, the digital literacy, computer skills is a big component, but we also offer all kinds of help. If someone needs support finding something like maybe they're struggling with online homework from a class, if they want to create a resume, do a job search online, whatever the person's goal is, that is, that's where we start.
Yes.
So.
So people go in for that purpose, but I believe another benefit of that, again, that randomness of it, where in the process of processing an application, a student's application, I imagine you might come across information where you might see something about like their income, and if it appears to be rather low, you can tell them about, you probably will qualify for SNAP benefits or other benefits that are available to people with low income or of a certain age category, or whatever. There are all kinds of programs out there to help people in need.
There are so many, and we do, as part of the registration and onboarding, we gather a lot of information, and then we work with that to help our students.
And then,
that's
for
why
someone who needs SNAP, for instance, then you would be able to say, I know a guy at East Bay Cap that can help you complete your SNAP application.
Yes.
Actually, there's another person, a lady at the Boys and Girls Club right downstairs from me.
She comes in all the time.
Charlene?
Yes, Charlene. And
Trainum,
yes. We love Charlene. She brings in all of the flyers. We have those on display, and we've made a lot of referrals to Charlene.
That's good. That's
So,
good. It really helps me out a lot, because for a while I was the only person, outside of the Department of Human Services helping people with SNAP applications. So
Oh, wow.
that's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And having all that in one place is very, helpful for our students and community members, because they're coming into the school, they're getting to know us, we're getting to know them, and they're comfortable, disclosing information and then allowing us to help them with whatever their next steps may be. Whatever the good fit is for them.
Right. and even, I would think, among older adults who are possibly, retired from work but not ready to stop working altogether, who might want to learn a new trade or skill,
Yes,
right?
Definitely. And Colleen's going to talk a little bit about that. We offer some classes that seniors have been particularly interested in.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. The one I wanted to highlight first was our paraprofessional or teacher assistant class. This is a training to get you working in a classroom with students from kindergarten through grade 12. And there are all kinds of openings all over the island and beyond for teacher assistants. And the training is pretty brief. It's a few hours a week for about 6 weeks. And then you can work part-time or as a substitute or even full-time 30-plus hours a week as a teacher assistant. And your day-to-day work could be, many different things as a teacher assistant.
Sure.
You might be assigned to a special education classroom and help students with special needs. You might work with a student one-on-one who is struggling and help them to finish their assignment. You might help the teacher to facilitate a group activity. So it's a really good option for folks who are passionate about working with kids, and it's a lot less demanding and rigorous than a full teaching position.
Sure,
so a lot of
sure.
retired folks have taken that route.
But I imagine there must be some kind of like a certification exam or something at the end.
Yes, there's
Right.
the Parapro exam. I'm sorry, did you?
And we do preparation for that exam as part of the training.
So that is a nice opportunity, again, for someone looking to start a second career. But that's for students. Now, you mentioned the need for volunteers as well, and I think that's probably
Yes.
another area in which seniors would be particularly interested in the Newport Community Schools. So perhaps you could give us a
Sure.
little bit on some of the volunteer opportunities.
Sure. I hope that some of the viewers are interested because we desperately need volunteers. We do have one volunteer, a gentleman named, and we've had a few others that pop in here and there. We had a student from another country who volunteered this past year in our English classes. She was studying to be a teacher in her country.
Oh.
We also have Keith Grove, who's amazing. He's a retired math teacher from Boston, and he's been volunteering for about 2 years, maybe a little over 2 years, and he's just volunteered to become our volunteer coordinator because he knows how busy we are. And because we have had people calling and inquiring, and I'm hoping some of the viewers will as well. We desperately need volunteers, whether it be in the GED classes, retired teachers, or people who love math, science, reading, or social studies. We could also use volunteers in the healthcare classes.
Right.
Sometimes, like in the med tech class in phlebotomy, they're very challenging, like college level classes. And even a retired healthcare worker or a nurse or someone, if they could come in and maybe tutor the students to help them. Also, adult students, they're not experts at being students. They've
Right.
been out of the classroom for years, some of them, and they're trying to juggle everything, raising kids, paying the bills,
Sure.
multiple jobs, and they don't know necessarily, a lot of them don't know how to study. So having a volunteer help guide them and set them up for success and work with them. Sometimes it just takes a few times and people are like, oh, I can do that, I can do that. And it's wonderful to have someone
Sure.
like that. So we'd appreciate volunteers for that. Maybe some of the viewers want to teach. We can always use teachers too. So a retired nurse for CNA or
Right.
an electrician, can I tell you, it has been really challenging to find an electrician this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
We currently have an opening for an electrician, electrical teacher.
Well, if you're out there, Mr. or Miss Electrician, contact the Newport Community School, and maybe you'll have a part-time teaching job out of that. Maybe you could give me a couple of stories. We have a little bit of time left. Some success stories, perhaps, if there's someone who came through your school and then went on to greater things. Do you have any examples of those that you know of?
Well, I'm thinking of one. In fact, she just called me yesterday. This student had taken CNA with us, I'd say about 10 years ago, and she's young. She's in her late 20s, and she became a single parent. She worked as a CNA and struggled to take care of her own mom. And then she realized, hey, I need a GED, so she enrolled with us and worked very hard and attained her GED. And then she went on to take phlebotomy, because you do need that credential. And she successfully completed phlebotomy, got a decent paying job while she has 2 kids, single mom, working hard. She enrolled and actually got a scholarship to New England Tech.
Wow.
And she just graduated in April for their medical assistant training program from New England Tech. So
beautiful.
She's a wonderful example of how our students come in and they realize, I need the CNA job now to pay the bills, but I know I want to do this, this, and this, and they have, goals, which
Right.
Colleen sits with everyone and creates goal plans, and students stick with it. She checks in with them, and we have so many success stories like that of students who just come back to take additional classes. We work with them, we know them, we support them in all avenues of whatever they need. In fact, Keith was essential in writing a letter to a foundation so that she got a scholarship. I wrote a letter to Rhode Island Foundation, and they funded part of that as well.
Oh, that's
And
great.
they're a wonderful organization. They fund a lot of students in their classes and initiatives. That's just one. We have so many success stories. Can you think of one offhand?
Yeah, there's another student who was in her 40s who worked as a CNA for years.
this is a good
She was raising 3 children and working as a CNA. She came to our evening GED classes, graduated with her GED in about 9 months, and then she was able to take our MedTech training. So working with the same employer that she was always with, but now in a new position with much better pay.
Sure.
And she was the first person in her family. Neither her parents nor her grandparents had earned their high school
Yes.
diplomas.
And her sisters. She was the very first person. I get goosebumps thinking about her. Her very first person in her
Yeah.
family.
Yeah,
And she's in nursing school.
Wow.
So
yes, I forgot to add that.
Yeah. So that's what I get goosebumps from. It's just amazing to see how our students, it's our staff members and our teachers are just they're the foundation of our program,
Yeah.
and students love the supports that they get.
Yeah.
That's great and so
Yeah.
important.
I think
It
that
really
comes
is.
back to the human touch I was talking about earlier, because we are very much a school that is going to make sure that you're doing well and keep checking in. Adult education, most students are there because they want to be, unlike, your typical high school.
Right.
And
And we understand that sometimes you have to stop out and go a different way, and it's not a straight path to whatever your goals are, but we work with you.
Right.
And you're not going to, necessarily get away with coming to our school and sort of flying under the radar. We're going to make sure that you're being successful. We're going to check in. Your teachers are going to check in. And one thing I'll say as far as the GED class and what's important for students being successful, like the stories that we just told, confidence is a really big factor.
And developing confidence.
Absolutely.
And that comes from developing one's knowledge base,
Absolutely.
right? If you
Definitely.
feel like I know what I'm talking about, then you have confidence to talk about it and do it.
And that's, another reason, we really need volunteers. And I want to put out that call again for anyone at home who's interested. It's not so much about being an expert in math or language arts or anything like that. It really is truly about just showing up for our students, because our students are so much more capable than they even realize. They walk through the door, maybe not even knowing why they're doing this at all, or school didn't work out for them the first time around, so why would it work this time around, right?
Yeah.
So really, if you're thinking like, oh, I don't know enough to teach someone, I think, most people out there probably do. We have plenty of materials for you to work with as far as the academic side of things, but really what helps students the most is, sort of walking them through each step and letting them see, like, yes, I can do this, even if you have to prompt them as they take each step.
Exactly. And I mean, just as you two are experts on the Newport Community School, and it's easy for you to talk about and all of that, as your students develop expertise and again that knowledge base in their own chosen profession, they work up that same level of confidence and ability.
Right,
And,
it's amazing to see.
It sure is.
And many will go on to mentor and cheer on the students that come after them.
Yeah.
Definitely. We have a lot of our own students who say, okay, if someone's struggling, because I know how hard med tech was, I can sit with, because it's every Wednesday night for 15 weeks, and I'm available if someone needs to, sit with me and go over the terms or whatnot.
Right.
And speaking of, just going back to the Learning Lab really quickly and the student stories, we've had so many seniors come in, and I want to encourage seniors to come, there was a gentleman I worked with for a year. His name was Frank. He was hilarious. He was a retired bus driver from Bristol. And he used to come in pulling his suitcase, and inside, wrapped in a blanket, was his desktop computer.
Oh, my.
And we would set it up every week in the Learning Lab, and he was learning to navigate on that. And we've had seniors bring their laptops in because they didn't understand how to use it, and they wanted to start from ground, and work their way up. People bring in their printers. I don't know how to print. They bring in their laptop and the printer, and it's just, whatever the need is, we're here.
Right.
Whatever, so I just want to encourage people to come in.
Sure. Well, we have about a minute left, so would you like to offer any parting remarks, either one of you?
Well, we just celebrated, I'll be quick, and then we just celebrated our 50th anniversary, and we feel, for 50 years we've been the go-to place for adult learning on the island and beyond. There's a lot of partners who have classes as well, but we do count on the community, our students, our volunteers, and our business partners, and to continue the legacy. So we hope that you'll consider joining us in some capacity. And I just want to say thank you again for allowing us to come in.
Thank you for coming on, Kathy, absolutely.
Yes.
And Colleen, you've got the last word.
Yes, Colleen.
Yes, thank you for having us. And I guess I'll just wrap up by saying I meet one-on-one with a lot of our students, as Kathy said. Many of them have said things like, I'm too old, or I'm too young, or I'm not smart enough. And as I work with these students over the months and years, they end up surprising themselves with how capable they are and how much they're capable of.
That's
so,
great.
Whatever barrier you might have or obstacle, I'm too old, I live too far away, I'm not smart enough, it's not true. You can do this, so please, again, come on in.
All right. Well, thank you, Kathy and Colleen, for coming on. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in our latest episode of Senior Soundings. Thanks again, and we'll see you again next time.